there. Thank you for tuning in to my second art instructional video. My first one last week was about drawing mandalas. I have one of my finished ones right here. Added some paint and colored pencil to it. Today we're gonna make paper doll houses. And the first kind is kind of an easy, kind of a two-dimensional, but it gets a little three-dimensional. It's just made out of one piece of paper. The second one is more of a three-dimensional version, and it opens up, unfolds into like a four-room dollhouse. So we will start with this one. And we are going to start with just a piece. This is just copy paper, 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. I'm going to position this so you can see better. All right. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is just fold the paper in half, matching up the corners. If you have a bone folder, you can crease it with that, but you certainly don't have to. All right, then I am going to go ahead and fold it in half this way. Okay, now this is the tricky part. What we're going to do is bring this edge to this line in the middle. And we're going to kind of flatten this part at the same time. So, see, I just kind of bring it right to the center line. And this part, you can push down, and the center line, you're just going to make sure that meets up with this center line. So you just kind of pull it down, like so. There's one little door more. Okay, and then you do the same to the other side. If you want, you can fold the whole thing in and just give yourself a little spot there. Line up with the center and crease that, and then just push this piece down so that you have a straight up and down line going like that. And that is the basic fold. So you can decorate it any way you want. You have extra rooms. And then the back you could decorate like the outside of a house. So that is how you do that one. And very easy. You can see how it came out just on one piece of paper, the front and the back. All right, the second kind of house, the first time I made this one, which was a while ago, it's been banging around for a while, was on krokotak.com is where I saw the instructions. So very cool. It's like an origami house. And this one is made up of 5 pieces of paper. One piece of paper is just an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. The other ones I have cut. You need 4 squares. And this is the same width, it's 8.5 wide. So I just used a paper trimmer to cut it so it was 8.5 tall as well. You can make this with any square paper, doesn't matter what size it is. You can try making little mini ones. But for the purpose of ease, I just used 8.5-inch squares. So we are gonna do the same fold on these 4 squares. So I'll show you how it works. We are gonna fold in half. And then open it up and fold in half the other way so that we have 4 squares. Make sure your corners are meet up as well as possible, because that'll make it all go together a little easier. Okay, so we've got 4 quadrants. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take scissors and cut just up the center on one of our folded lines. And I have used just copy paper because it's the easiest to show you with. If you wanted to use a little bit heavier paper, like maybe a 70-pound drawing paper, 60-pound, that may be a little better if you're going to be coloring with markers and stuff. But for the ease of folding, I'm just using copy paper. All right, and I'm going to show you how this is going to go together to form one of the rooms. So that's going to be our little room. Now it has to fold in half, so we're going to need extra folds. And the easiest way to do this is make the folds first and then put it together. So we're going to flip it over. This will make the folds be headed the right direction. We're going to make like a little tent flap here. So just bring this little corner right up to this edge. Okay, so you have like a little tent flaps. Okay, then you're just gonna push them down again. Flip it over. Now, those pieces have the fold going the right way so that when we close that room up, it's gonna lay flat. You can use glue, but I like to use two-sided tape, double stick tape. I use all the time. It's just not as messy as glue. With glue, sometimes you get wavy, your paper gets wavy, but with double stick tape, it's a lot easier, a lot faster to put together, especially if you're doing this with kids. There's no wait time. So then I'm just gonna bring this piece right up to the edge and press it down on the tape. So you want to stay as close, meet your corners as much as you can. And now it's already got that crease in it, so it will fold like this nicely. Here we go. So that's one of our rooms. I've already made 2 of them, so we only have to make 1 more. I'm going to set those aside and show you again how to do the folds for the room. Fold it in half. Fold it in half again, so we've got 4 squares. All right, and we're gonna cut right up this line on one of the folds. And then at this point, don't forget to flip it over so all of our folds are going the right way. Flip it over, and we're gonna do the tent fold, bringing this corner to this corner, right on the fold line there. So it looks like a little tent. All right. Okay, and you can push them back down. Flip it over. And I just put 2 pieces of double stick tape in these corners that didn't have a fold. But you can experiment with how it lays the best. And we're gonna tuck one side under the other. Sometimes it helps to like lay it flat as you're figuring out. And then that way you can really place this well. All right. So there's our little room. Okay, now we've got 4 of these little rooms. So we have to stick them to each other. So we're gonna go back to back with these walls. So make sure there's a lot of different surfaces here. So you can actually make a different kind of dollhouse by lining them up differently. But for this one, you wanna make sure we're making that plus sign in the center. So the easiest way I found to do this is just to flatten it down. I put a little double stick tape in my corners. And then I just double check it. This side is going to that side. So I collapse them down, and that way you can stack them and kind of get it as exact as possible. All right, there. All right, we've got 2 rooms like that. We're gonna add the 3rd room. My dollhouse that I already made, I decorated it after it was completely done. But you can also, before you stick your rooms together, you can lay them down and draw your beds and your chairs, and before you stick it together, however you want. But you can also do it when it's done. All right, so my next wall is going to go right there. So we'll collapse this down. Put tape in each corner. All right, here's my wall. It's going to go right down here. Okay. All right, so we've got 3. And our last one, we're just going to stick to one side so that we can still fold the whole thing down. So here it is. I'm going to stick it right there. And then I'll show you how to do kind of the roof piece, which ends up being the outside of the house. All right, collapse this down and place it on the top. All right, our basic structure is done. If you're doing this with kids and they want to play with it in the rooms with even dolls or little animals, you can paper clip or use a binder clip to clip that open. Another thing you can also do is use an X-Acto knife. You can put this on a piece of cardboard. You can cut out doorways if you want. I'll have to do a part 2 video where you can actually make some of these things pop up. So you have little pop-up chairs and stuff. So you can make little doorways or whatever you want. I'm going to show you real quick how to do the roof piece. It was nothing too fancy in this one. As you can see, I just kind of cut another piece to fit on it. So this is where you need your regular size piece of paper, because as you lay this out, you're going to need a little extra space to make the little corners of the roof. So this, I just kind of traced the outline. And then grabbed a ruler. And so you can kind of mark the center is about there-ish. And then this part wasn't too scientific, but whatever shape you want your roof to be, you can get really fancy, but I just keep it kind of simple, like that. And we'll just cut it out. Nice sloped roof. So you can use crayons, markers. I like to draw with pencil, then go over it with permanent marker. And then you can use crayon or marker to color things in, and the permanent marker won't smudge on you. So that's kind of the center. And we take our little house shape. So this is kind of the binding. It's almost like a book. And we'll use Sometimes I like to put a little bit in the center. A couple pieces of double stick tape. Sometimes it helps to kind of lay it right in the center. Like that. And there it is. So you can decorate the outside to be kind of the outside of the house. You can cut some doors and windows. And you can see mine is bending a little bit because I'm using kind of thin copy paper. Cardstock turned out to be a little too thick, so I would say something more in the range of 50 or 60 pounds. 80 was a little bit too thick. So that is your dollhouse. So if you make one, go ahead and put a picture of it in the comments so you can see how it turned out. And if you make one of this one too, kind of feel like coloring that one in now. But thanks for tuning in, and I hope you have a good evening. Thanks. Bye-bye.